It is time for Dying to Bloom with your host, Carrie Potter.
Good morning. I'm Carrie Potter. Welcome to the first Dying to Bloom radio program of 2016. The last show was back in October with historian and ghost investigator Linda Zimmerman. It was truly a fun and informative program, and if you missed it and would like to hear it, you can visit Dying to Bloom on YouTube, which is also available on the Dying to Bloom Facebook page. A big thank you to Jeff Lewis, and happy birthday to Jeff Lewis, by the way, also. But a thank you to him for creating the YouTube shows for me. He also co-hosts the Lunchtime Talk on Fridays from noon to 1, so I hope you'll join us for that program as well. This is a monthly show that focuses on providing education and burial burial and funeral options, legal requirements, costs, as well as how our choices impact the environment. I've initiated the Green Burial Fund to help bring a land conservation green cemetery to our area. Please visit rocklandgives.org to make your donation, or a donation of about 30 acres would work fine as well. If you would like to contact me, you could send an email to dyingtobloom@gmail.com. Now, I often talk about and promote green burial. Why green burial? Well, the cemetery you're accustomed to is probably the one with thousands of headstones, with lush green lawn, thanks to the help of chemical applications, including above-ground mausoleums. Well, if you think about it, we're constantly dying and having babies. Is that what we want our preserved land to look like? And are we going to run out of space eventually? Acres of headstones, is that really sustainable? A green burial means no formaldehyde, no fancy hardwood caskets, no need to bury a large cement vault, no clearing of land, and no taking down trees. It's preserving land, being buried naturally, and letting the body return to the earth and nourish the earth. Well, my guest today is sharing a unique product that goes hand in hand with green burial. His name is Mike Ma, and he's co-founder of Coeo, and they have created it's actually called it's a mushroom burial suit. And I believe it does have another name, the Infinity Burial Suit. One of the reasons we fear dying, which is partially a cultural thing, is our disconnect from it. Dying used to happen inside the home, with family members being the caregivers. Now it happens in private rooms, in hospitals or nursing homes. Although hospice, I have to say, does an amazing job providing support, someone could die in the comfort of their own home, surrounded by family. I was close to doing a program around the holidays, and what I was going to do, but we did have our WRCR holiday party that day, so that took precedence over the show. But I was going to ask if you wanted to call and join in and share with me, I guess, make a tribute to those that you may have lost, whether recently or not. I know the holidays are a tough time, excuse me, and I happen to have lost both of my parents and miss them tremendously around the holidays. My mother, Helen, and my father, Arthur, have passed away well over 20 years now, and both of them are buried in a traditional cemetery, or a cemetery as you know it. They happen to be at Ascension Cemetery in Mahwah and had a traditional Catholic burial. And, you know, this isn't about judgment, this program, but it is about informing people that there are a variety of options out there, such as this unique burial suit that Mike will talk about. There's new ideas and new products coming up constantly, and perhaps we can cover a variety of them on this program because there's a lot of reasons. One, is it really sustainable to continue our current burial practices? Two, perhaps maybe we should consider going back to tradition and being a little closer to those that pass. I did have my mother pass at home through hospice services, and there was really a nice connection. It was painful, definitely, and a difficult situation. But being able to have her at home, surrounded by family, holding her hand and being there was an unbelievable experience. I have to say, and I've said this on the show before, I consider it miraculous. Being able to witness a child being born and coming into the world and being there when life leaves the world, it's witnessing a miracle, really. My father did pass in the hospital. It was a different situation, but I guess that's life. But meanwhile, another few things that I think it's important to remind listeners to know about burial choices are, one, some of the legalities here in New York. I would like you to know that, one, it is not a legal requirement to be embalmed. You have a choice there. There are a few rare situations for perhaps if you need to transport the body to another state where embalming may be required, but you do have a choice there. And you can defer that cost by choosing not to do that. Another thing is the cement vaults that I mentioned a little earlier. That is not a legal requirement either. That is a cemetery requirement. So some cemeteries may require that you pay extra for that cement vault, where more and more cemeteries are actually offering the option to have a green burial. The Ascension Cemetery in Mahwah, Sleepy Hollow over in Westchester, do offer green burials where you can actually go into the earth naturally in a biodegradable coffin and not choose the embalming and the cement vaults. And of course, cost is a big factor as well to consider. And while a lot of people choose cremation, and I'm hoping to do a program on that as well in the near future, there are environmental concerns that go along with cremation as well. And I do believe I found my guest for today, Mike Ma. Mike, are you there?
Hi, Carrie. How are you?
Hi, thank you. You are co-founder of COEO. I opened up talking a little bit about green burials, which, of course, I'm extremely passionate about. And COEO supplies a very unique product, the Infinity Burial Suit, which is also known as the Mushroom Suit. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. The Infinity Burial Suit, and also we have products for pets as well, provide the greenest way if you want to plan a burial. It does three things. From the science perspective, it speeds decomposition of the body to let a faster return to the earth. We have technology that neutralizes toxins. So the things we may do to ourselves in the course of a life, our technology will help remediate a lot of organic and even non-organic toxins. And lastly, we have technology that speeds nutrient delivery back to plants, which is not always a trivial task. So we provide that tech. We also, so we can help save the planet. The other part that we try to do is provide technology that lowers the cost of a funeral. So our products, while we're still in manufacturing, we're targeting retail prices that'll be about a fifth of competitive products in the market versus cremation, versus traditional burial. So we think a big second value proposition is helping save money because burials are quite expensive and increasing in cost. So that's the broad thing that's the broad contours of the product as it stands. We have pet products for our four-legged, feathered, and finned friends, which are hitting the market in a few weeks. And then we have an updated version that we're going to bring into mass production for humans around April or May of this upcoming year.
So is the suit available now?
It is available. We've made it available for a couple of beta testers. We are in the process of redesigning it, both for fashion. We've been very excited to work with some very talented fashion designers to update the suit's look aesthetically, but then also some of the function so that we can scale it more rapidly. They've all been sort of done as prototypes have been done by hand before. So we're working through that process. We are taking and interested in talking to people who are in pre-order, But it is it's been available to people who have been, like Dennis White, our film subject, who've been part of our beta group early on. But the next tranche of availability, we're looking at April and May, when we're going to have an updated suit that's going to not only work the same as the previous tech and prototypes, but also be made beautiful and available for larger audiences.
Now, some people tuning in may be freaking out a little right now about this whole topic because it is a concept that we're distant from in many reasons. But if you take a moment in your mind, those that are listening, to just reason that historically we were buried naturally in the ground, where in contrast we created this practice of trying to inhibit decomposition by using toxic chemicals like formaldehyde and airtight coffins and cement vaults in the ground, when the body will decompose anyway. I actually think your burial suit and products like that will probably actually make the whole process a little prettier in the big picture. I know that sounds strange, but the Infinity burial suit provides a cleaner process of returning to the earth.
Completely. And I'm not, my previous background is in startups, marketing, technology, and financial services. So I too have plenty of friends who look at me sideways when we talk about what we're doing. But like you said, when you take a second and you actually think about what it is we're doing, I think two things come to mind. First is, once you get past the ick factor, like you said, if you think about all the chemicals we put in ourselves, all the money we put in ourselves to get buried, and it's increasing, it doesn't do the thing that we said we would do as a pledge to nature. We can have all the hybrid cars we want and all the organic composting we can do, but for some reason, we think we as humans are not part of the same ecosystem and natural life. And there's something, when you take a moment to think about how much concrete we use, how much wood we spend, how much formaldehyde we pump into our bodies, it doesn't make sense. Or at least it doesn't make sense for a large portion of people. And it takes some time to get used to, but once you're there, it does resonate. And the second thing is, once you finish that individual resonance, when you share this with your family, and we've seen this with our early testers, there's emotional benefits and there's family benefits. We've seen it change lives in terms of how families interact with each other by going through this process of accepting where we are in the universe, where we are in the ecological system, and through the lens of our own death. That has, paradoxically, but probably makes sense, has helped a lot of our early adopters live better. And we think that there's scientific benefits, we think there's financial benefits, but once we kind of break through 150 years of being told we have to be embalmed or cremated, there's emotional benefits that we think are very real, we've been able to see with our groups.
Are you from the Rockland County area?
I do. I am. I live in Japan. My kids are in South Orangetown, and so I'm part of the community. I've been here for about almost coming on 10 years.
And where is the company based?
Sure. The company is based, the manufacturing occurs in Brooklyn at a fashion incubator that's partnered with us called Manufacture New York, which has been an amazing partner for us. And then we have offices at a co-working space, an incubator called Orbital, which is on Manhattan's Lower East Side, run by my friend Gary Chow from a previous life. And then we also got to Manufacture New York through Jay Rim, my brilliant co-founder, peer, and colleague at MIT, who's an advisor named Amanda Parks. So we're kind of split between where we manufacture and where we office, but we're looking to consolidate sometime. There is a fair amount of work that still goes on in Rockland County, though.
Well, sure. That's why I wanted to bring that up, because I have to say I am proud that this project is being launched on a local level. I think that's great. I want to bring up the website and continue the conversation, but in case people would like to check it out, the website is coeio, coeio.com. Is that correct?
Yep, you got it.
coeio.com. coeio.com. I believe we do have a caller on the line. Hello, you're on Dying to Bloom.
Yes, good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Mike. I just had a question. What's the economics on this suit? I mean, as far as cost factors,
Sure.
weighing out the overall cost?
We said is for traditional burial, for those who are going down that route, you could save approximately about $5,000, depending on what traditional burial you're looking at. And then our products are cost competitive, total cost to equal to cremation. So specifically to our products, for humans, we're launching two products. One is a suit, much like you have seen in the vein of, I guess I should back up. My co-founder gave a TED Talk in 2011 in a prototype of her suit. Her name is J. Rim Lee. You could type in J. Rim Lee TED or Mushroom Death Suit TED, and you'll find her talk. That's a full body suit that's going to be designed. And we're targeting, roughly speaking, around $1,000 for a suit in that area, and that is seen as equivalent to some of the caskets you'll see in the market that may range from the average range is say $3,000 to $6,000, depending on how extravagant you go. We also are offering a shroud that uses the same patent pending technology on the order of hundreds of dollars. So that if people wanted to still have a green burial and do it in an economic fashion, they could do so as well. Also, we find shrouds are very compatible with many religious beliefs today, including Judaism and Islam. So our goal is to make it more affordable for people to have more options on a green burial. We still are in production and sampling and getting all of the final bits of manufacturing done before we can give final costs to the market. But I just want to let you know where our head is and our intent is and the general range of costs that we're trying to target when we go to market.
As well as environmentally friendly, correct?
Absolutely. It is environmentally friendly. Our patent pending technology is all organic. There are no toxins involved, and our technology uses mycelium, which are mushroom spores, which are indigenous to everywhere in North America we're looking to be made, along with a patent-pending mixture of bacteria and enzymes, again, all organic, and so it should be we try to make it so it's going to be a good deal for the environment and a good deal for our customers.
Mark, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Because you're talking about how it purifies toxins, I guess you could say, if someone does not use the suit, and I'm certainly a huge promoter of green burial, and I do that on the show all the time, does our bodies pose a threat to the environment, or does everything naturally become inert over time? And does your product, is it just a means of helping the process?
So a little bit of, first I would say anyone who's considering an alternative traditional burial product, a green burial, our view at Coeo is good on you. So I think that's a huge step. With regard to toxins, the CDC publishes a report. You can just type in CDC exposure report if you're looking for it. And they track, I can't even keep track of it anymore, but roughly speaking, I think 220 plus toxins that are tracked in our body every year. And they're increasing in both number and intensity as we include more and more chemicals into the things we eat and the things we expose ourselves to, ranging from BPA, right? This is why everyone wants BPA-free water bottles, to things like mercury, right? And it may be inert to us, but it definitely has environmental impacts. Some of these things won't go away, right? Nature can take care of some of it. Our view is why not help it along? So through a scientific process called microremediation, which has aided a lot of large-scale environmental impacts through natural means. We incorporate some of that same technology. For instance, there was an oil spill in the San Francisco Bay, and they used a combination of hair mats and mycelium to do microremediation to remediate petroleum-based spills in 2000. It was the Costco San Francisco Bay spill, and that was well documented as being highly effective at remediating that environment. Our technology used the same basic science, and we're starting to do applied testing of that in human and organic materials as well for burial. So, circle back to your question, nature probably does take care a lot of it, but I think as we see with all parts of our environmental impact, we seem to be better at chipping away at nature than nature is at fixing it on its own. So our technology helps give a leg up back to nature to be able to remediate some of those poisons we're putting into our body, and they're not insignificant. Right? In the UK, for instance, maybe it's second upon cremation. People think cremation is a green burial option. Cremation uses roughly speaking, 300 kilowatts of energy every cremation, which is about as much energy as a person month of energy. And it releases a huge amount of stuff into the air. Let's say mercury. Right? In the UK, for instance, cremations account for about 16% of all airborne mercury found in the United Kingdom. That's not insignificant, and that we breathe that. And there are a number of things that occur downstream of it. So our technology can handle both organic toxins, let's say like BPA, and then also through a process called chelation, chelate heavy metals such as mercury to make them inert. It doesn't destroy them. It's hard to destroy a mineral. But the long story short is we give nature a better shot at remediating and accelerating the neutralization that we do to our bodies in funeral practices.
Well, I'm very thankful for the product. Of course, being someone who feels very strongly about the benefits of a green cemetery, it offers us another choice. I've seen the items such as a simple biodegradable pine coffin to these beautiful weaved caskets to a regular burial shroud. But this is unique. If you're going to go green, you might as well go all the way green and utilize a suit that can, as you mentioned, provide a more, I guess, pure decomposition. Is that and nourish the earth? Is that a way to say?
I think you got it perfect, Carrie. I really appreciate the sentiment.
Again, I want to give the website. It's coeio, COEIO.com. And also briefly, you did mention that you are or have products available for pets. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
In our research and working with our groups, pets are as important to many families as us bipeds. So we have products to help people do green burials of pets. So we have products for sort of dog, cats, medium to large. We haven't solved figured or made processes for horses or very large animals yet, down to small fish and bird sized pets and shrouds. So that is a product that we are launching in the next few weeks. It's going to be available on our website, and those are things that it's going to give people more options.
When will they be available, Mike?
We're looking towards the end of next month.
Wow. Okay.
Let's say so, a month from now, and we are in throes of production now.
So it would be a mail order type product. Is it a mail order?
Correct. E-commerce from that perspective, and we could get that to you quickly because we know those things happen sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes expectedly. So we'll be able to ship a lot of those to when you need it most.
Yes, I experienced the pain of losing my longtime pet, my golden retriever, this past year, and I was able to have her put down at home, similar to a hospice situation for people. I was able to have that for my dog, which I highly recommend. It was, she was dying. She was suffering. So to be able to have her at home, surrounded by family, and the comfort on her own dog bed was painful, but again, comforting that we were there for her. And a vet did come to the home to put her down. And after she was dead, the vet said, I have a bag in my car I could give you for the burial, because we did choose to bury her at home. And what she had was a huge plastic bag, and it just didn't make sense to me. So I did deny. I said no, thank you. But wow, what a great option to have, to at least be able to put your pet, your long beloved pet, in something, and then know that they are naturally returning to the earth. It sounds like, as painful and as awkward of a discussion it is a needed product. So thank you for supplying that. No,
thank you for sharing your story. Your story is very similar to a lot of what our early adopters have said, particularly with animals. So much of their love is watching them in nature, and enjoying them as a creature of nature that they've been blessed to have in their family with them. So being able to return them back to nature has been a really powerful tool that people have been appreciative so far, and we're excited to offer it.
Well, we're just about out of time. So Mike Ma, co-founder of Coeo, that's COEIO.com. You could visit the website. Thank you for opening our minds and helping us to learn about the Infinity Burial products. And thank you for all your work on improving the environmental impact of our burial choices.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for having me on. It's good to be with you.
So as I conclude the end of the show, I did want to mention that David Bowie died this month at age 69 after battling cancer. The Daily News did an article on his burial choice. He told his loved ones he wanted to go without any fuss, and he was simply cremated shortly after his death, and he requested no private or public funerals. I'm sharing this because many of us are faced with the huge cost of a modern burial service and may feel cheaper burial choices are not dignified or good enough, or we're letting our deceased loved ones down by choosing something less expensive. Well, this is an example of someone, David Bowie, who I would think could afford a more lavish departure, but made a choice not to. Now, I'm going to quick share a quote in the Daily News article about his burial choice. It said, "There is no public or private service or public memorial. There is nothing," a source told a British newspaper. "In many respects, you don't need a memorial or a service to remember David by. You have his music instead." Well, you have your music too, so live life to its fullest and let your music bless the earth with the precious time you have on it. I'm Carrie Potter. Join me the fourth Thursday in February for the next Dying to Bloom.